You're listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. Yeah, it's a mouthful. For more great shows like the one you're about to enjoy, visit electronicmediacollective.com. And now, our feature presentation.
This is Randy. In the future, time travel will be a thing. You thought spoilers were bad now.
This is Jesse. In the future, Hollywood studios will get tired of paying outlandish salaries for leading men and women, so they will simply animate everything. So get ready for the animated remake of Aaron Brockovich, voice acted by someone affordable.
This is Melanie. In the future, there will be a special internet task force that goes around taking down all spoilers and punishing those who post them.
Welcome to the Grawlix Podcast, episode number 91.
Is it?
We're in the Endgame now, which is actually way more ominous put to like, what does that mean for a podcast?
Ooh. What does
Don't
that
say
mean?
things such as that.
Yeah, I know, right? I just worried our few like diehards. I really just worried them, I think. Episode 100, we've been talking about it for years.
But don't worry, there's a spoiler ban on episode 100, so you'll be fine.
Yeah, welcome to the Grawlix Podcast. First note, this episode is a quick turnaround episode. We are recording it technically the night it goes up, which means I am not cutting ums. So any future, this should have been my future prediction, any future potential clients of Randall Sylvie, this is not the episode to listen to. This episode is going to cost me the money somehow in the future, I feel like. That's okay. But for you, listener, yeah, I mean, whatever. It's still going to be Grawlix. I always leave awkwardness in. It's going to be that, but it will be a little edit light.
But if you want better sounding audio for your podcast, you could find better sounding audio at podedit.com.
Man, if we could afford to pay podedit.com, we would do it, and it would make a world of difference.
I agree.
Yep.
It's not a good pitch. We could afford it. We're just cheap and don't care about the quality of our sound. Otherwise, we'd go to the very affordable podedit.com.
Or you could just say, good for us, we get podedit.com for cheap. But, or wait, free really.
Well, we get what we get.
This is
we
what
get the
you
pod edit that you pay for. We get what we pay for with pod edit. So, which is a worse pitch than the bad pitch that we just did.
Okay. Oh, let's move along.
Can't imagine why.
No wonder I don't get clients that come over from, yeah, I heard you on Grawlix. That doesn't happen. So, okay, this episode, we are going to be talking about, this is exciting because normally we are so behind the curve on things. Mm-hmm. We're going to be talking about Endgame, and this is actually going, like, a week. Like, it came out a week ago. That's
right.
Pretty good. And there will be spoilers, and given that it's only been a week since it came out, like, we're definitely, normally by the time we talk spoilers, it doesn't matter. Like, a thing's been out for years or at least several months. No. In fact, we're right on time with the spoilers, according to, I didn't hear this, but Jesse has.
Oh, yeah. The Russos, they put out this big time spoiler ban, and I'm guessing there is a trailer for Spider-Man that comes out, well, when you hear this. So Monday, I'm guessing we're getting a Spider-Man trailer, and there's going to be spoilers in that. So magically, the Russo spoiler ban is lifted as of now, as of when you're hearing this. So we can spoil Avengers Endgame, and that's what we're going to do.
We're going to do that. Yeah, so the spoiler ban. Wow, people really listen to that.
Yeah, it worked. It worked real well. Right? Did it?
We talked about, actually, I think we sidetracked ourselves with Game of Thrones, but we talked about the spoiler situation a little bit on the pre-show. But Okay, we're going to be talking about, I feel bad for doing this right off the top, but I don't know when we're going to actually jump into spoilers. So we're just the spoiler warning the whole episode right now.
Right.
So Twitter itself slightly spoiled things, and it's not like I didn't know, but the one spoiler I actually managed because I made a point to go Saturday. Me and Melanie went, well, technically it was still late, it was Sunday, but that was the only showing we could get into.
Yeah.
But we went Saturday, opening weekend, which I never do because I didn't want it spoiled.
Right.
But Twitter, like Friday or Saturday, thank you Avengers the hashtag was trending, and I'm like, thank you Avengers, and it says, if you look in the little sidebar, if it's like a specific hashtag, they have like the Twitter moment set up for it. It'll give a little description, and it's just like fans are thinking the Avengers one last time or something like that. I'm like, well, thanks.
Yeah.
Like I know they're probably leaving, but like that's confirmation that the Avengers as we know them are probably done.
Right.
Which is not inaccurate. So I was a little upset just at Twitter itself. I'm like, that right there is kind of a spoiler.
Yeah.
Well,
Twitter.
and then the thing that kept going out is there's no end credit scenes because this is the end game.
Yeah. Oh, good thing we didn't wait then, huh?
Yeah, I did not know there were not end credit scenes.
Oh, yeah.
And I was not waiting.
Nope.
We went to this. It was like the 1 a.m. showing or 12:50.
12.
Oh, God. Yeah.
12. Yeah.
12:50. So we didn't get out of there till after 4 in the morning. I was not waiting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I had to pee for the second time during that movie. Like the last 45 minutes I had to pee, and I had already went once during the movie. That's a long movie.
Yeah.
And it was so late that once we were done with our popcorn, we couldn't even get a refill.
Yeah.
They were like, no, we shut off the poppers. Poppers take forever to heat up.
It did. I was so mad. I went out there and they had a lady cleaning out the popcorn with a broom. And I'm like, wait!
Broom that into this.
Broom that into this cup.
So anything, grab some cups. I'll take it all. Throw it in a bag. I'll take it home with me.
And put cherry Coke on top. Why not?
So, did you guys have stuff spoiled for Endgame? Jesse, I know you were later you waited a few days.
I waited until the Tuesday of the next week, and actually I didn't have anything like really spoiled for me, which is kind of a miracle because I went on, was Thursday the first day that they were showing it?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so
Thursday
I went
the week before last. Yeah,
I went Thursday, and because Daydream Instruction Manual was at Alamo Drafthouse, like doing things with the movie, and so I volunteered to help out with that. And one of the things we were doing was interviewing people as they came out of the theater, and so I was like,
geez.
"We are tempting fate. I don't like this."
Yeah.
But I mean, like we prefaced with no spoilers. What'd you think, kind of thing. And I mean, we can get into what people's reactions to the film were, and I can give you some insights into how it looks to someone who hasn't seen the movie.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, do we want to kind of have our discussion before we do that, or do we just want to? I don't know, because I'm curious. I'm curious.
Well, I mean, like, had you heard anything about the people's reactions to the film before you saw it, or you guys went Saturday, so maybe there wasn't a whole lot out there yet.
There wasn't a whole lot, and I was doing my best to avoid basically everything.
Right.
Because I wanted to use Facebook and Twitter again.
Yeah.
And then Game of Thrones happened, and we didn't watch that. And I'm like, well, I guess I still can't use Facebook and Twitter.
Yeah.
So the only thing I didn't read any reviews. The only thing I had seen is one of my friends on Facebook had posted. I don't think he liked it.
Oh.
Because he posted a status that was essentially F Endgame and it's crappy writers. And I'm like, oh, that's not great.
Wow.
But he doesn't have the best taste in movies, so I was like, okay, well, I'm still hopeful.
Right.
Maybe it's too good, and he didn't like it.
Too good for you.
It's not.
Oh,
Spoilers. We know where Mel's going with this one.
So, but yeah, otherwise I hadn't heard anything. Generally, I got the impression that everybody was loving it.
Yeah, me too. Basically,
Okay.
I was hearing overwhelming praise.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Other than the one guy, I was hearing very good things.
it wasn't horrible.
You were trash talking it before we even had the
I
theater,
know.
and I'm just
I
like,
can't help it.
I was like, stop it.
Well, you want me to be all like dreamy about it
I don't
and not
want-
think of
no.
the practical things that make no sense.
I didn't say that at all.
Well, you're like the time travel thing just doesn't matter.
We're gonna get all into it.
Oh yeah. Oh, we're gonna get into that.
Okay, are we just gonna do it now? Or are we just gonna get into it?
Well,
now?
okay. So first of all, let's answer the question: did the spoiler
Yes.
ban work?
No.
No.
No, because there was a guy that like a football player tweeted out basically the end, and like that guy's in some internet heat right now because of that.
Mhm. Yeah.
So yeah, sorry, just because you're the director doesn't mean you're going to stop the internet from ruining it.
Yeah, I mean they could say spoiler ban, but there's not. If nobody signed a contract, nobody cares. They're not gonna listen to that.
But I think there were a couple people maybe that the internet is like, I hate you forever. 'Cause-
Right.
This movie made so much money.
Oh yeah,
This
it's still
movie
making money. They're talking it's going to beat everything.
I mean, it was like, what was the initial figures I was seeing on like Sunday was like $1.2 billion. Like it was insane. And part of that, I bet, is because people didn't want to get it spoiled.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
So the people that were coming out of the theater, Jesse, they said they liked it.
It was so weird. Okay, so like they would come out and they're just silent. You know, like that's what I had heard mostly was that, okay, it's really, really good, but you're going to need an entire box of Kleenexes or something like that. And like they were coming out like super, like almost morose. They were zombie like almost. And our job was to like get a quick Facebook live video of people's reactions after the movie. It was like the most ill-conceived PR stunt of all time because like nobody was like, woohoo! Like nobody was like doing that. like everybody's just like, oh, I gotta go to my car now.
Well,
we're like,
part
hey,
of-
did
part
you
of-
like the movie?
Part
The
of
movie
it,
ended 35 minutes ago, and I'm just now getting out of the theater. So
Well, yeah,
Just
that's-
got up.
yeah.
part of what I'm saying is that it was so long.
Yeah.
If it was shorter, it might not have been quite as bad. But I don't know. I thought there were a couple of teary moments, but I didn't think it was all that sad.
Right.
That's yeah.
I think it was more like a shock type of thing, like I don't know if it was like eye strain mixed with I don't know, but it was just like this very. It's hard to explain. It was a hard to explain like reaction from people, but they were just like kind of like, I don't know, like the 1,000-mile stare kind of thing. I was like, did this movie traumatize you? I mean, like we did get some sound clips that people were like, it was a great movie kind of thing. But I think it being that fresh, a lot of people just didn't even know how to process it or what to say about it.
That's actually probably, yeah, no, that's a good point. That's probably more of it because, and we can get into this more in the review itself, but it's hard to process because there's so much. There's like, because essentially there's a lot of good stuff and there's a lot of stuff that just doesn't make sense. So I could see people being conflicted. I don't know.
I just got a reference that that may be borderline spoilery now. Actually, it's not spoilery, but it is spoilery if you know what it means. We asked like thumbs up, thumbs down, like how did you feel about the movie? And the guy said 3,000 thumbs up. And now I get it. It's clever. But at the time I was like, whoa, 3,000 thumbs up. I have no idea what this means. That's a lot of thumbs.
All right, well, let's get into it, I guess.
Okay.
All right. Tearing the
First
Band-Aid
off,
off.
as we always do. Well, we all know how familiar we're with this going in. But initial impressions, what did you guys think of Avengers Endgame?
That's difficult.
That's such a complicated answer.
It is complicated, yeah.
Can I break it into parts?
No, yeah, let's just go to the review. I was just curious to see what the initial, like, if you had, like...
I'm going to say I liked it, and now I'm going to tear it apart with my teeth.
That's the thing. Like, I think initially, I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
But I knew right away, for one, because of Melanie's, like, before we were even out of the theater, she's tearing it apart.
As soon as that one thing,
I was like,
you
at
know
least
that
let
one
us
thing.
get out of the theater. But I'm excited for that discussion.
It's on my list. I think I even know.
Yeah, that's the thing I'm most excited for this episode. But I liked it a lot. But even then, I was like, I like it. It's going to sound like we hate it on the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
And then the last couple of days, I've kind of... I still haven't changed my mind on it. Like, I still like it. I think there's a lot of good stuff. I think there's a lot of stuff that is not good, though, in it.
Yeah. I like the beginning. It's okay. I like some of the middle. And I don't care for the end.
Okay.
That's my...
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care for the very, very end. After the big battle, that stuff, like, I get it. I get why they did it, but that stuff kind of drags, and that's probably partially why you get the 1,000-yard stare of people coming out of the theaters, because it's 3 hours long, and it's not nonstop action, which is good, but all the action is crunched into the section of the movie that feels like the movie should be ending now,
Right.
And then the big final battle starts, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then we go into funerals and stuff after that. And I'm like, or a funeral and all this. And that stuff, it at 3 hours long, it kind of drags on forever. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I got this impression too that it was so jam packed and so tightly edited down to get it to this 3 hour mark. That there was almost no good times to go to the restroom. Like that's what things were saying. It was like, if you're going to go to the restroom, go now. And then I saw the movie and I'm like, I could have went to the bathroom at any time in the first 2 hours and been fine. I mean, like, there's stuff that happens, but I don't feel like I felt like that was misrepresented. I don't feel like there's a lot that you couldn't miss. I think there's a lot you could miss and it'd be fine.
Yeah, I don't know why, belly rubbings and belching is essential.
Right.
So, okay, first let's start with the stuff we liked, the stuff that really worked. Because, listener, if you like this movie, we haven't even started yet. But,
I was like, you're still gonna like it, at least for about 10 more minutes.
And I think we all, I mean, Melanie maybe less so, but I think we all said we like it. So let's talk a little bit about the things specifically that we liked. Not necessarily the scenes, but just the aspects we liked before we get into the nitpick stuff and the less nitpicky stuff, the kind of big holes and flaws. Yes.
I love that they just, bam, they're in it. It's like, it starts, and then they're like, we're going to go find him and kill him, and then they do.
Oh.
Yeah, I like that too. Yeah, that really turned it on its head. It really, actually, I was like, oh, snap. So there goes at least one of my theories.
They did well at, messing with your expectations. And the first part of, I don't know, chunk of the movie, I was like, they're actually doing something like really risky with this. Well, by the end, maybe not so much, but because it starts off like, as you would expect, though, it starts off very kind of serious and somber. And they track him down. They find him. They kill him. Like Thor just straight kills him within like, I don't know how long he was on screen, but it seemed like 2 minutes of screen time, maybe.
Yeah.
And then in my mind, then I just credits. But I was like, wow, okay, wow. What are they going to do? That's kind of crazy that they just dealt with it that way.
And I was surprised and not necessarily happy with, but whatever, I can accept it, I guess, that it was 5 years later before any more movie happens.
I have a little nitpick. I have some nitpicks with that too. But yeah.
It's weird and it complicates things later too, I think. But
Yeah, I was surprised by the 5-year time jump too.
yeah.
It felt more like a year or two. You know, I mean, like I kind of got into this in a message thread with Randy earlier where it was like 5 years and we can't take the garbage out. I think in 5 years' time we could get our act together a little bit.
I get that. Well, we can't help it. We're going right into it. Well, that's the problem with the movie. Like, it's all so intertwined. I think, yeah, half the population's gone would mess Earth up for quite a while. In 5 years, though, I think they'd get their act together and start taking the trash out.
There'd be half as much trash.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, right.
We'd get the act together.
Yeah.
I also like, okay, so there's, for the most part, the humor, the comedy, for the most part, I'm super torn about the Thor gut. Like, it's funny, and it was unexpected, because Thor in this, like, he's a mess through almost all of this movie.
He's Lebowski.
They even call him the Lebowski a bunch. Like,
yeah, Stark calls him Lebowski.
And he pulls it together enough to fight, but he never actually, like, it's not like all of a sudden 6-pack Thor shows back up.
Which is good.
We get 6-pack of Budweiser Thor the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
Right.
But so that, I don't know. I'm conflicted on that. Like, it was funny, but then again, it's like, well, I don't know. It seems easy. But for the most part, the comedy was on point, I thought.
Yeah.
There was a lot of just funny things and quippy remarks that a lot of it landed for me. I remember laughing at several things.
Yeah,
there were things Melanie laughed out loud at that no one else laughed, and I could tell she laughed and then, like, was aware that nobody else in the theater was laughing. It's like, oh.
But it was funny.
It was funny. There was a lot of funny stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was slightly upset. I think I talked to you about it. Not really. I wasn't really upset. Okay, Paul Rudd, I know he's like the comedic whatever relief, and he's not a genius like a lot of them are, but he's not supposed to be stupid, and they play him like he's stupid, and I don't like that.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, not that he's stupid, but he comes up with the time travel idea basically.
Yeah.
But so he's smart, but he's not, like, the ant suit's not his thing.
No.
He's just like he's a thief. He's a
criminal mastermind.
Yeah, he's a heist guy.
But that's still mastermind.
Yeah.
Come on.
But that's his, like, that's his comedy character is,
Yeah.
kind of dumb, kind of the plain guy, but
Yeah.
But not like dumb, just immature dumb.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. I can accept it then. Let's move on. So what comes
They
next?
did muddy the waters with his intelligence a little bit, though. They're like, it's like, what is he? Is he smart or is he not smart?
Yeah, because the time travel thing, like, that's pretty smart. I guess, although, even though he didn't come up with, Pym particles and the suit and all that, he's used it. He's been around enough. He would pick things up. And he spent a lot of time in the whatever zone,
the quantum realm or whatever. Yeah, I mean that's where it's like there were some leaps of logic in this movie in terms of who did understand what kind of thing. It was like, and Banner got real dumb.
Yeah, but it's not his field. Right?
Yeah. Well, it was his field in all the other movies. He was pretty pivotal in Ultron.
Well, I mean, you combine yourself with Hulk, you're probably kind of like the super smart Bruce Banner and the not smart, the Hulk smash. You level out a little bit when you combine the two, I guess.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like,
did they reference the Joe Fixit stuff? Didn't they kind of nod to that and say I was basically a bouncer in Vegas for a while?
Oh, I don't recall.
I don't remember.
I don't recall.
It was quick. I mean, it was 3 hours of movie to remember, so some of the Easter eggs get lost.
Yeah.
Oh, and especially with his delivery of stuff, there's a lot of quick, like, not stammering, but rambling, kind of,
Yeah.
almost.
Yeah.
So yeah, possibly. There's probably a bunch of throwaway references in his dialogue that I missed.
Yeah.
Okay. There's other stuff I liked, but one more other final thing I liked is I have problems with younger Thanos fight, but I like how they brought younger Thanos, or past Thanos, into it. I just like the concept of,
The network.
the neural network, where Nebula, is it Nebula? She's Nebula,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shows back up in time. There's two Nebulas, and apparently their neural network is in the cloud somewhere, so they can sense like there's some crossed wires and stuff. I don't know. I like that idea. I was like, well, in terms of like some of the kind of flimsy like connections they make to make things work in this movie, I feel like that's one of the better ways to do it. Like it was kind of interesting. I didn't see it coming. So that I like that.
As far as like jumping back to humor just briefly, as far as like Thor goes, I loved seeing Korg. Like Korg's the fact that Korg is in this movie, like it was like, oh, there's Korg, and just how he's introduced so matter of fact, like you remember Korg.
Yeah.
And they're playing Fortnite basically, and he's like, Noob Master.
That was so ridiculous, but it was fun. And that whole thing, like they knew they had to. All the characters that I wanted from Ragnarok, the Valkyrie and Korg, in whatever, the little slug guy that doesn't talk or whatever he is, but he's a tag along with Korg. So yeah, they're there, and so I'm good. My major quibble with Infinity War has been taken care of.
Yeah.
Oh, also setting up for potential like as Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yes.
Thor is such a good fit with Guardians of the Galaxy. What they did with him, and I try not to like watch reviews and stuff before we talk about things, but I did watch some stuff about this. So I'm going to kind of echo something I heard elsewhere, but basically Chris Hemsworth, that's his name, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is actually a really good comedic actor.
Oh, yeah.
And it seems like they didn't know that until a couple movies in, when they're like, oh, we need to use this guy right. And then they did Thor Ragnarok, and that became Thor. And Chris Hemsworth, like, he is good.
Honestly,
like the attitude.
He might have been one of the better parts of the second Avengers movie. It's like that's where they realized they could have fun with Thor, was Avengers 2.
And sorry, go ahead.
Well, just like he would throw out his like, fortunately, I am mighty, like those kind of like that's where his arrogance actually dipped into actual quality humor, and then they just kept dialing it up from there.
Pairing him with Chris Pratt was the best thing that they could have done, because they're dynamic and like the looks. It's the looks that that Thor gives. I
think that really makes Thor. I think that makes Chris
Hemsworth
like really shine. Towards the very end, he's on the ship, like he's taking off with them. Which is he gonna be in Guardians Volume 3?
I think they confirmed that. I think so.
Man, if he is, James Gunn's back on board. I am so on board with that movie.
Yeah.
But God, he nailed it right at the end when he's just like the attitude he's giving.
Yeah.
No, you're Captain, of course.
No, we know who's in charge.
Yeah, we know. So good, they nailed it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that was a high note.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we ready?
Where do we start?
Are we ready for the bulk of the episode?
Where do we start?
Oh wait, no, one more thing.
Yeah.
I totally get and feel for what's his name? The archer guy.
Hawkeye.
Oh, Hawkeye.
Yeah. And I like that they did that with him. I mean, I know it's not
Yeah, that was a pretty
supposed
good.
to be
that
supposed
was
to be a happy thing, but I totally that's what I see him doing if that happened. If like his whole family was disappeared, he'd go psycho and turn into a murderer.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Yeah. No, yeah, I bought that. That was a good way to spin the Ronin character.
And we didn't get a lot with that, you know. Of course, there's a lot to cram into this movie, but no, I did like the setup of like they get like they're tracking. What's his name? I think it's Don Cheeto is trying to track him down, and he's basically like, we get there, and it's just a massacre of these like Colombian drug dealers and wherever else. And when we finally catch up with him, he's in Tokyo or somewhere. Yeah, no, I like that.
Actually, to piggyback that, like, I think before we totally leave the things we like, I think overall the character vignettes were solid. Like that reminded me of how much I liked how Tony Stark he's totally content to leave it all behind. And like the dynamic that they set up with him is like, no, I get it. Why would he want to keep fighting this battle kind of thing? Like, I like what they did with him. It's, you know, I don't know if I totally bought Captain America's ability to just keep pushing forward, but that's kind of who Captain America is. Natalia, you know, Romanoff, she's Romanoff. I feel like that was fairly accurate. I like how Rocket is basically there to bust Captain Marvel's chops. Would you get it? Would you get a new haircut?
Oh, speaking of Rocket, the one, it's such a throwaway line, but it's so good where Tony's back. I mean, he's a mess at first. And also,
yeah,
they like, I'm assuming it's digitally. I'm sure makeup, but also somewhat digital. They skinnied him up a lot at the beginning to the point where I was like, oh, like I don't remember him looking quite that rough in the trailers, which he might not have because those trailers are not, you know, they alter those heavily. But
he's emaciated. He's kind of Christian Bailey we were talking about pre-show.
But when he's back on Earth and he's sitting there and then Rocket says something and Tony's just like, I seriously till this moment I thought he was just, I don't know what he's like, a stuffed animal or something. Like he's just like,
yeah,
like I didn't think he was a living thing, and that's it. And then he just moves on.
That's right, because he never met Rocket, did he?
No, he was gone. Like he didn't. Yeah, he was already off in space with Spider-Man and
that's right.
And, whoever else was out there.
Yeah, that's right. Because Rocket went with Thor.
Because Rocket and Thor were a great duo.
They were.
Oh, I'm so excited for that stuff. I did like the opening stuff, the somber stuff too. Yeah. I thought that was pretty well done. So before we really dive into our complaints, I guess, overall I'll say I liked it. And even though there are a lot of problems, and this was my thing, like this is why like slight annoyance when Melanie really like jumped on it before we were even out of the theater. Like there is, and at the time, like I knew there's a lot of problems.
Yeah.
But I feel like the fun and the good stuff like outweigh it to where I still think it's good. I think it's good and it's entertaining.
If we, if it were a DC movie, we would call this like an overwhelming success,
right?
But because we've gotten a certain level of excellence, and we just came off of Infinity War, like it's like you were not going to top Infinity War. Sorry.
Basically, like I was not disappointed by this.
Right.
Like it still felt satisfactory. Infinity War, it doesn't touch Infinity War. Infinity War is such a good movie, especially then watching this and being like, oh yeah, Infinity War is so well put together. And because I guess a good place to start is this is not a movie.
No. Yep. That would be my first complaint.
It's a couple movies, or it's like three-quarters of a movie.
Throw 2 hours on it, give it to YouTube, and you've got Cobra Kai. You know, I mean, it's they could have done that. They could have done like a mini series.
Yeah, I mean, I think really, and it did. Even while watching it, I was like, this doesn't, because Infinity War, I think part of what makes it work is that it did tie in all this stuff, all these characters, all these like kind of wildly different characters. I mean, they're all Marvel superheroes, but still. But it still felt fairly cohesive. It felt like a movie. I think you'd be kind of lost, but if you know, it's the whole thing of if you'd never watched a single Marvel movie somehow and then watched Infinity War, I think you'd be confused about a lot of things, but I think you could still enjoy it as a movie.
Right.
If you've never watched anything, and you tried to watch this, I don't think any of this would make sense, and I don't feel like there'd be a satisfactory arc for you in it.
There's too many things going on. I mean, like there is one central goal, but only in the same way that any TV like season of television maybe has a big bad that you got to take down. There's like all these subplots and things that don't necessarily tie back to it. It's just not as succinct.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot of fan service.
Yeah.
Which people usually say in a negative way. I don't think it's a negative thing. If you're wrapping up a 11-year long 22 movie plot line that you've kind of set up, yeah, it's fine. But it definitely does not feel as cohesive. It's much more jumbled. The pieces are more obviously separate pieces put together.
They don't know how to do time travel. Period.
Oh, that's a whole thing.
Yeah, it is. It
Okay,
is.
well, let's do that then.
That's the second biggest reason that I don't like the end, because they're not consistent with their time travel rules.
They're really not. So when they first explain the time travel rules, they specifically call out Back to the Future and how it's not that. It's not, when they travel back in the past, they're not altering their past. They're basically, it's creating new timelines. And the way they explained it is basically, they can't change anything that happened. They can't change the past, but they can travel back into the past. So I read that as like, basically, we want to do time travel, but we don't want to interfere with any of the other movies that have already happened. We don't want to muddy that up.
Right.
But they didn't even stick to that. And I didn't even think of this, but the way Captain America goes out, like that's not in line with their time travel rules, because he would have went back into a different timeline.
Yeah, we never would have saw him.
Never showed up.
Yeah, exactly. He wouldn't be living there and then like show up to wait. Like that's Back to the Future time travel rules. Like they muddied the waters even more than
they couldn't even stick to their own rules that they established for this movie.
Right.
Yeah.
So when you get into it, that seems like the first thing you really jumped on, Melanie.
Would they try? So what they do? So for people that are not maybe tracking what we're complaining about, they used quantum mechanics and quantum theory to go ahead and explain their time travel. And the reason that it was okay is because in quantum physics, it's that whole multiversal theory where it's like, well, our universe doesn't cease to exist because every universe is based on a series of events that could go one way or the other. So you have all these different dimensions that are, this the multi-dimensional theory, right? So you can go back and change a thing and it doesn't matter to this dimension because that happened in that dimension. And it's lazy time travel is the way that Randy kind of termed it. And I totally agree. It's totally lazy time travel. And again, they didn't stick to it, because then how you get back to your own timeline? If you went back and changed the past, good luck getting back. Other than they had specific coordinates for their destination and the return.
Well, it felt like a they want to have their cake and eat it too thing, where they're like, well, we know we need to use time travel to fix this somehow, but we don't want to undo the last movie or any of the other movies. That stuff still happened exactly like it happened. So how do we make this work?
And their thing was, we have to return the stones to the same time that we took them and not change anything. But just them going to take the stones does change things because it's already different.
Yeah.
So it's moot. And
they only feel that way because of Tilda Swinton. Like Tilda Swinton's the only one that's like, no, you can't do this because think about it. Think about what you're doing to us.
Yeah.
It's morally unethical. It's like she posed the moral question. And
because
Banner's like, oh, it is a jerk move.
I mean, even the way it resolves itself doesn't actually fix anything. It essentially just created a new timeline where they were able to fix it. The 14 billion other timelines, they're all still screwed.
Yeah.
No, you're right.
And I don't care if they're trying to use. How are you going to murder yourself and live? That just doesn't seem right to me.
Right.
Well, see, and
I know that's Back to the Future.
It's not Back to the Future time travel rules, they say. So that's how you could do it. Because she murdered herself, but that's herself from a different timeline, which makes the whole thing even more
Same thing
muddy.
with Thanos is like, if we're going to pull Thanos from the past before he's ever gotten the stones, we can murder him and it still won't ruin anything. Even though if we were to apply actual time travel logic to it, then that would undo everything. Like we stole him out of the past and we killed him in the future, then everything should be undone. But it isn't, because this is an alternate 1985.
Yeah.
Well, why does Scarlett Johansson have to be dead? Why couldn't they just snatch her out of the timeline?
Right.
I mean, I keep hearing the Black Widow movie is still on the schedule.
Oh, yeah. So would that come?
Well,
that's the other question, is where does Gamora fall into all this then? Because in the one timeline, she's sacrificed because of Infinity War. But then, ScarJo, she's the one that's sacrificed. So who's sacrificed and who's not, and who's still alive and who isn't?
Yeah, because she suspiciously just disappears from the movie completely.
Right.
Before, the last time we see her is before Tony snaps all the bad guys away. I mean...
And would Tony have differentiated, or would he have snapped Gamora?
I think he
never
would have
met
snapped
Gamora.
Yeah, he would have snapped Gamora because she was with them.
Right.
But we don't see that. Since we don't see that, she's still around somewhere.
Yeah.
And another thing I didn't think about, man, this one article, it's nitpicks, but it's kind of not. Steve Rogers, the whole captain, and this person, I could tell whoever wrote this article. This and listener, you might have seen it if you've looked up any of the articles. It's one of the first that popped up. But so he was supposed to go back and put because Banner says for whatever reason you've got to put him back at the exact moment. If they actually had done that, I know it's not Back to the Future time travel rules. He would have showed up when they were taking it out.
Right.
They'd be there if it had to be at the exact same moment.
There'd be three of them.
Yeah, I mean, really.
Oh, God.
And but also he went back with the stones. For the most part, almost none of them were in stone form when they took them. Like the Tesseract was the Tesseract, and there's the Scepter, and the one. How is Steve Rogers, Captain America? I mean, I know he's got super soldier serum in him. How is he going to, one, get the Soul Stone back on this planet wherever?
Yeah.
Two, inject the one stone back into Jane of Asgard. How does Captain America do this?
Right.
It doesn't make sense. It's not possible to do. You can't just send him back and
Yeah.
So I don't know that. Yeah, that it does fall apart. But again, the time travel thing, I think I could enjoy it in the moment because,
I mean, you don't have to think about it. It is lazy time travel.
It is. I read it as whatever. We could do whatever. It doesn't matter. The problem is that when they don't do, and the alternate timelines could be interesting, but they didn't really exploit that specifically, because I guess when you think about it, where they stole the stones from, that place is still screwed because Steve Rogers wasn't there putting it back as they were taking it. So he never went back to those timelines.
Well, actually, I guess he didn't take it from that one. They took theirs from the 70s, which was weird anyway.
But he went back with all the stones. He was supposed to put them all back.
Yeah, I know. Why didn't they just keep the Soul Stone?
Yeah, I mean, that was just out on the planet.
Yeah.
They didn't need that. Nobody needs that.
That's another one.
Randomly get sacrificed to that.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, Thanos isn't even alive to go back and kill his daughter, so at least that universe doesn't need a Soul Stone.
That's true. That said, as soon as they said time heist, I was like, all right.
Oh, yeah.
They even say time heist.
Right.
It's a time heist. I enjoyed that stuff. Going back into the other movies, I thought that was fun. It's all fan service, but...
One of my beefs, just with the time travel thing, was so these people are gone and then they're here. So for them, it's been a second, but it's 5 years later. Like, what's his butt's daughter is grown up. And some of the, I mean, they act like these people are just going to, I'm going to go back to my life. But yeah, no, you're not, because it's 5 years later.
It's 5 years later. Your life's gone. Some of the people that you left are probably dead now.
Yes.
Yeah. The 5 year thing is
such a weird choice. Such a weird choice.
It's a weird choice from a storyline, like, because they set it up. Like, Tony didn't have I mean, from a character point of view, Tony Stark does not want to lose his daughter. Yeah. And I get it. But from an actual, like, broader
maybe
story
that's
point
why.
of view.
Maybe because you're like a 2-year-old, you're not going to get a lot of speaking lines out of. So it has to be, she has to be a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
But it's from a storyline, story-wise, it's a weird choice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a weird choice, and it still puts the world in a weird place.
Yeah. And it still didn't bring back a lot of my favorite people.
Like Vision?
Yeah.
Vision I get, though, because he was the stone. Like, the stone was him.
Yeah. I get that, but...
What about Loki, though?
Right.
Ooh.
Exactly.
Except...
I love Loki.
That happened before the snap, so...
Loki, they messed the timelines all up. He got the Tesseract and disappeared.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
So we do have a Loki somewhere out there with
Loki's
the Tesseract.
out there somewhere with the Tesseract, which is, I'm guessing, a different timeline than when they went back and then decided to just steal it from the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
so
what was the Tesseract? Was the Tesseract space or was it mind?
I'm not sure. I'm going to say space. That makes sense. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't recall.
Well, he poofed.
Oh, so that would be space then, right?
Space.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Who knows? Who knows? Anyways, but it's like, yeah, he could wind up being anywhere now.
I mean, I know where he's poofed off to. The new Disney live streaming live action Loki series they've been talking about forever now.
They could get their continuity right enough to fix that, but they couldn't understand where they went wrong with Captain America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked it, though, but I didn't think about the fact that that's not how their time travel works, yet it is.
Yeah.
I just felt like the way they handled it was like the very risk-free way to do time travel. They didn't want to deal with all the possible complications, which I always think are the most interesting part of time travel movies.
Yeah,
the Back to the Future stuff.
Yeah.
What did they change? But yeah, they just wanted to go back, and the risk was, are they going to get the stones? That's the only stakes.
We went back, we set up the cage, and we set up the gun.
And then the other thing, and I've seen the meme going around where they're like, so Doctor Strange's big plan required a rat to randomly let Scott out of...
Yeah.
The only universe where they could win was a universe where the rat stepped on the van.
And it is ridiculous, but I'm fine with it because, I mean, it wasn't Doctor Strange's big plan. He just went through all the possibilities, and out of 14 billion or whatever he said, one of them they survive. I'm gonna guess it's just the one where the rat happened to step on the thing.
Happened to be on the thing. Yeah.
There's probably like 10 or 12 where the rat stepped on the thing, but that's the one where the rat stepped on the thing and this happened and that happened.
Yeah.
You know what I really, really didn't like?
Oh God. Okay. Yes. Let's do this.
Yep.
The girl lineup.
Yep.
What in the crap is that? That made me so angry that I can't fully like this movie because of that shoved in bull crap that means nothing. And it just offends me.
I really like, so, I mean, you said it, but it's specifically that moment where all the female superhero characters during the big battle at the end
stopped what they were doing.
A lot of them are at different, like one scene, like 2 cuts ago, were on the other side of this whole area. Suddenly they're all together in one shot so they can run together and look awesome.
Yeah.
I appreciate the idea behind it.
I don't.
Well, I mean, I like
girl power. Yeah, no, that's not the way you do it.
I like your take on it. The problem is, like, for me, don't shoehorn them in together.
Mm-hmm.
If your female characters are really that important, they will just be there.
Yeah, they'll do their own important things. Or just follow the book and let the freaking female be the one who kills Thanos.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
It's weird that they made it Tony.
It wasn't Tony.
Well, he snapped him.
Yeah, but he didn't kill him.
Who killed him? Oh, Cap and
Thor killed him.
Captain Thor.
Thor killed him with the thing in the beginning.
Oh, in the beginning, but at the end it was the snap.
Yeah.
Well, the beginning one doesn't count.
Well, either way, both times then. Still, should have been her. Should have been Nebula. And she deserved it after all the crap that he did to her.
Mm-hmm.
So.
It is weird that they took that away.
Yeah. Instead, she kills herself. That's crap.
But I like your take on it specifically. And I don't know. I think it kind of articulates, like you articulated well, what kind of bugs me about it, what I found cheesy. But I think, and partially it's just me being a guy. Like, I get what you're saying, but I was just like, well, that's super cheesy, but okay, whatever. But I get it. Hey.
But I get it.
But, and I don't want to, I want you to say it. I don't want, but you said it feels like it condescends to you.
It is.
It talks down to you.
It does. It's like, here you go. It's a little pat on the head for the little lady. Screw you.
Oh my God, the way you put it. Yeah, no, I don't blame you for feeling that way because I feel like that's what it is.
It is what it is. And they're proud of themselves for it.
Yeah.
And that is even worse because they really don't get it.
It's the Lady Thor thing for me, 100%. Mm-hmm. Which is oddly enough, like, okay, so this movie does like the passing of the torch for a few things. I feel like the way they set up the quote unquote passing of the torch for Thor, although she doesn't become Thor, but they set up the, I don't know what her name is, but the Valkyrie.
Yeah.
To basically take Thor's spot.
Yeah.
And I think that works. Like, she's a great character.
Yeah.
She's interesting. And that was a organic way to work her in there.
Right. I agree with that.
And she's a strong character.
That was better than the comic book.
Whereas the comic book, you know, like whatever, she just happens to be there. But at no point did somebody walk up to the Valkyrie and be like, you know what, you should be like, I should be fighting you because I'm a bad guy, but I get it.
Right. No.
Yeah.
She would just
Take
punch
me
them
to
in the
jail.
face. First, she would be drunk, and then she would just punch them in the face.
Yeah.
What is Captain Marvel doing in any of these movies? Like, honestly,
Nothing.
I was gonna ask, did you guys see Captain Marvel? Did you see that?
No.
Or is this your first exposure to her? Okay, and then what do you think of her? Because like I thought she was gonna be. First of all, I thought she was gonna be a much bigger deal in this. Not that she wasn't a big deal at all, but they made it sound like she was kind of the linchpin to this thing going in. But yeah, what were your thoughts?
I don't care for her. She seems like a bad word.
Yeah.
Like one of the worst bad words, even.
So the post-credit scene sets her up, and then they're like, you know, well, Ant-Man, there was Ant-Man, but that kind of ties into it as well. And most of that took place before the whole situation anyway. And then for the most part, then her movie comes out. Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, well, they're going to situate her to be a big deal.
Right.
And then they don't. Like, so I've seen so many references to to The Simpsons where the Itchy and Scratchy where they like write Poochie out, where it's just like, now I have to go back to my home planet, and it's just like not even animated. It's just this animation cell lifts up, and then like just she's there, and then in the two scenes she's in, it's a flimsy excuse to just get her out of there as quick as possible.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or 3 scenes. All 3 scenes is the same thing. She shows up in person, and then she's like, well, but there's more important. Like, I've got 1,000 other planets to look after. I'm leaving. It's like, yeah, but the people on this planet are the ones dealing with the direct threat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? And then on the hologram, she's like, well, I got 1,000 other planets. And then she shows up at the end. Deus Ex Machina's the spaceship. Fortunately, she does not actually because if she just showed up out of nowhere at the end, killed Thanos, and saved the day, like that would have been real crap.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
This way, at least she doesn't feel like a complete Deus Ex Machina because you could take her out and nothing changes.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, because this once the snap happens, all those ships disappear anyhow.
Exactly.
Right.
So with the exception of getting Tony back to Earth, you could take her out of the movie and the movie changes nothing. Like, why is she in this universe at all? Why was there a Captain Marvel movie? Why? I don't understand her purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as a character, Captain Marvel as a character, I think is fine. And
her purpose was to make Disney more money.
I don't.
The actress. I think she sucks though. Like I don't.
In
think
this movie, at least, I didn't see the other one, but she was unlikable.
She was a little better in her own movie, but not much better. Like she's just kind of wooden, like she's just kind of stoic and uninteresting.
Yeah, she doesn't seem like she cares, and she obviously thinks way too highly of herself, which is another issue that I had. They all think highly of themselves, which is fine because they're superheroes, but get over it. And I know you say she's Superman. Okay, she's Superman, but Superman can't just beat up everyone and everything and succeed. They're superheroes that have powers that are at least somewhat comparable. Like Thor's a freaking god. He can't do anything against her. I mean, really? I don't know. I just don't like when they try to make it, she's so much better than all of the rest of them. I don't know. Although it's nice that, she's a woman, I guess, but not really. Because she's a bad word. If she was nice, then maybe it'd be different, but okay.
I don't know. I don't want to validate a certain segment, a certain very vocal segment of the fandom's like argument. Because for the most part, I don't think it's valid. But Marvel is not handling the Captain Marvel thing well. Mm-hmm. I like the idea of it, but the execution is not great. And part of it is
it's an overcorrection, they dropped the ball by not having a Black Widow movie. They absolutely missed an opportunity there.
Exactly.
Yeah,
but Captain Marvel was not the solution to that problem.
Scarlett Johansson and her character are so much more interesting, and I can't think of a word. I would much rather have seen a movie for her than, I don't even care for Captain America, so I'd rather see that than Captain America. And the first Thor. But she's been consistently awesome.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. From her very first appearance in Iron Man 2. She's probably the best part of Iron Man 2, to be honest.
I can't believe they didn't like really jump on that. And maybe it's because she doesn't have superpowers, so they don't know what to do, but get the guys behind like Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Winter Soldier, this Cap's superpowers made for some cool action scenes, but was not essential to the story. Mm-hmm. It was kind of an espionage, weird Soviet, the Winter Soldier thing. I mean, Bucky and all that, like they can make an interesting story out of characters without superpowers.
Yeah. They do it all the time.
Star-Lord was better before he was better in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, and he's just a guy with a spacesuit.
Yeah. So maybe it's because she doesn't have superpowers, but I don't know what the hesitation was. People have been wanting that movie for years, since the first Avengers.
Yeah.
And they just grasped onto this Captain Marvel. It's like, Captain Marvel's coming. Captain Marvel. It's like, well, who cares? We have no investment nothing about this character. She doesn't appear once. There's a super vague reference to her at the end of the movie that came out shortly before Captain Marvel. So what?
And from what I have seen of her, which is not much, I'll admit, I don't really want to see that movie anyway. I don't care. She doesn't matter, and she has no character. I mean, you know what I mean.
No, that's the thing. Jesse, you said something about she kind of lacked charisma.
Yes.
And that's the thing. There's no personality, and the personality that I see there, I don't like. And I think it's the actress, but
you might as well have cast the chick from Twilight, because
it's very similar
dead inside.
portrayal. Yeah.
Yes.
There's nothing there. There's nothing there. It's nothing to grab onto.
That makes me so sad, because that ruins good movies. Like that one Snow White movie, or was it Snow White? Yeah. That was a decent movie, except for her. And I'm like, why you put main character a big nothing? Otherwise, the movie would have been okay.
Well, it's so funny. Was it in the pre-show, or was it this episode where we were talking about? It was a pre-show where we were talking about that Jesse Eisenberg movie with her. How before we said who was in it, Jesse, you were like, "Oh, that sounds like an interesting movie," and then we said the actors, and you're like, "That sounds like a terrible movie." Casting makes a huge
casting
difference.
alone just ruined that movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't watched
Captain Marvel. You have to remember that Samuel L. Jackson is in it, so it automatically gets better by having him in it because he's great in it.
Oh, what are you saying? A man has to make it better?
No, he's a better actor.
I kind of feel like, and blonde white woman is who you're gonna whatever, but
maybe it's the writing too. I don't know. Like they wrote this character to be a very by the book, almost alien / human. Like she is a Kree warrior that doesn't get affected by much of anything. Like maybe she's just a boring character. Full stop.
I guess.
I mean, maybe I can't totally fault Brie Larson on this if it's the way it's written and the way it's directed. But
has anybody read any
Captain
Marvel with her?
She's changed an awful lot. The character has, so it's difficult to say because a lot of the Carol Danvers stuff that I've read was pre this version of Captain Marvel. Like she kind of becomes before she was Ms. Marvel, and that gets into that very vocal sect of the internet that doesn't need any more attention.
Sure.
Because that was their whole thing, I mean, we even know one of them that's like, this isn't Captain Marvel, this is Ms. Marvel. And Captain Marvel is the guy that says Shazam.
If they really want to commit, like, why didn't they go with, at least, I'm sure it's changed since, but the last Captain Marvel I seen in the actual comics was, and maybe it was a different lady who was Captain Marvel at the time, I think, but she was like a Middle Eastern lady of some kind.
Oh, you're thinking Ms. Marvel is Middle Eastern.
Oh,
Kamala.
Oh, they are different.
Is it Kamala something? She's got a name.
Didn't we just come out with a Shazam movie?
Yeah,
Yep.
That's DC though.
Yeah.
Oh.
The Captain. Well, I mean, he was Captain Marvel too, but they don't generally.
They've been calling him
use that
Shazam,
because
basically.
They kind of did away with that because originally he was Captain Marvel, but DC has him, so.
Okay.
I'm assuming they worked out a deal. They're like, okay, we won't use that anymore. You have Captain Marvel. We'll have Shazam.
Yeah. Okay. Well, it would have been nice if we could use that because that looked like fun.
They're competitors, but they're also the two tight. Well, they were. Now it seems like they don't matter because they're absorbed into these huge to Disney and Warner Brothers. But they were the two titans of the comic industry, so they would work together a lot to, I think, stifle possible rising competition.
They were basically the two-party system of the comic book world.
Yeah, I mean, really,
Yeah.
they really, yeah. Well, like superhero is copyright, or trademarked or whatever. Who owns it? DC and Marvel. Huh?
Yeah.
Huh.
How do you share that?
Funny how that works. Anyway, wow, we got a little off topic, but
So Endgame was okay, except for the time travel and the misogynistic pat on the head for women.
Yeah. Those are the main. Those really are the big two that annoy me.
They really took the lady that is forever my reference point for this topic. The Lady Thor thing.
Yeah.
The hey, I get it moment, which is just
Because they ignored all story beats to make it happen. They ignored every story beat to make it happen. Like it still would have been bad if they all arrived at that exact moment. But that would have even made more sense than, it's like they all came charging in from the same point in the screen. And it was like, in order to make that happen, like they would have had to drop everything they were doing 5 minutes ago to go get in that position.
Yeah, half of them were off doing other things.
Yeah.
Except for that one shot they had to get together for this is our money shot.
It's like, exactly. It's like they were all fighting. They're like, oh no, there's a picture opportunity. Let's get there. Woo!
We gotta get to the photo op.
Yep. Yeah, it was. Yeah, I agree. That was pretty bad. And I have a feeling a lot of people though really liked it. I have a feeling a lot of people really hated it.
It's a cool visual moment, but it doesn't make any sense story wise.
Like if you put some effort into setting that up so that it made, some type of sense, it would maybe feel less condescending perhaps, but
it's like
there was no effort to set it up.
It's like we need to save some money. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a poster moment and we're going to keep it in the movie.
I mean, there's a lot of fan service in this movie. There's a lot of things that are just there as fan service, and when you look into it, like, it falls apart. It doesn't really make sense. But it's just most of it, I get it because it's fan service. But this one, I get why it would be insulting. I get your point, Melanie, and yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm not glad you feel that way, but I'm glad you're here to put it that way because I thought it was cheesy and I didn't really like it, but I wouldn't have thought to like really word it that way.
Mm-hmm. That's because I'm a woman, and I'm not like a super feminist, but you know, I think we're equals.
I was to say you're our He-Man woman hater.
Yeah, well, because chicks are, God, they're annoying, and you know, I get it, but okay, I'm not saying every woman can't do everything that a man can do, but there is some woman that can do what any man can, what this man does. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
For every job there's some woman who can do it. So in that sense, we're equal. And I wish that people would just accept it already and move on.
Well, equal doesn't mean special.
No,
like,
it means
treatment
equal.
is not special treatment.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's not talking down.
No.
Yeah.
You don't have to make it easier so that a chick can do it. You just let her frickin' do it. God, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
So my hot take, I had two hot takes. One of them was that yes, I liked this movie, but Infinity War was better. Period. Full stop. It's a better movie.
Uh-huh.
My other hot take is I still like Cobra Kai better. I liked Cobra Kai better last year, and I like Cobra Kai better this year too.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't watched season 2 of Cobra Kai yet.
I haven't watched either one.
Oh my god! Oh my god! I can't wait for you guys to watch it.
Oh, you're gonna be waiting for Melanie, I think.
Oh my god! No, it's so good.
Nah.
That's the thing
I
is, like,
mean-
everybody was telling me how emotional this was. Did you? We didn't talk about that.
No, I'm glad you
I mean,
mentioned
we kind of did. We just barely touched on it. Did you guys cry? Did you need a whole box of Infinity Gauntlet tissues?
Randy's a man. He doesn't cry.
Yeah.
Uh,
Sometimes I get an irritant in my eye, but that's as close as it gets.
Was your
Yeah.
theater dusty?
Oh, man. No. So I don't remember what it was. There was a couple. Nothing got a tear out of me.
mhm.
There's a couple moments and honestly, I can't remember what they are. That, like, one of them might have had to do with Spider-Man. But even the end of Spider-Man's big moment that seemed to get everybody in Infinity War didn't get me. But there were a couple moments where I could feel the dust particles hit my my eye, my tear ducts a little bit, but like nothing to actually make tears. But for the most part, it didn't have the impact that I think it. I mean, I'm sure it did for some people, but it didn't have the impact of it. Like, something about the Tony scene that would have been like the main thing. That would have been the main thing.
Right.
The ScarJo thing.
I did have a tear or two.
Oh,
I know, and I usually don't. But one of them was for Scarlet. And then I had one, and it wasn't really for Tony. It was when it was when the bodyguard was talking to the little girl. That got me.
the bodyguard was talking to the little girl.
Yeah, Tony's bodyguard was talking to his daughter.
At
Happy,
the end.
happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
was kind of brutal.
Yeah.
It was like, I'm gonna get you all the cheeseburgers. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. That was pretty good. Yeah.
Those were the two. And it was like I was bawling. I just had like a lonely teardrop roll down my cheek, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. I think part of the impact was lost for me just because I've honestly been expecting Tony to get written out.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he
Since
actually
at least
he lasted longer than I ever thought he would.
Yeah,
Mhm.
since at least the second Avengers, at least.
I thought he wanted to leave in Iron Man 3.
I remember hearing Iron Man 3 was the last Tony Stark, but I guess it was just
The last
Iron Man like lead. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I guess if they keep offering you more millions every time you say that at the end of a movie, it's why not? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many? Okay.
Well, and like they can keep bringing him back. There's this whole storyline where Tony Stark is an AI that he programmed into basically Friday. Friday and Jarvis and all that. Like he has an AI version of himself in the comics, so they can bring back Robert Downey Jr. anytime they want.
I mean, at that point, all they have to do is like, hey, come do some voice acting.
Yeah.
And they'll just, I mean, they CGI a young Robert Downey. They could just CGI hologram his face.
No. You know what they need to do now? They need to wait like 10 years or so. And then they need to have like Ant-Man's daughter and Tony's daughter and, like that.
Oh, do the whole future Avengers thing?
That's their long game for their female team.
Mm-hmm. And then and then they'll have them, get trained by the old guys that are now the old guys, but that are the new guys right now.
Oh, yeah.
Old Man Logan, because now they own X-Men.
They do own X-Men.
So the weird thing that I thought was a spoiler, which really wasn't even a spoiler at all, was somebody said, the Skrulls are back, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, crap. Did they really work the Skrulls into this movie, too? They just had a movie where the Skrulls were a big deal. Which is Captain Marvel. There's no spoiler there because it's in the trailer. And I thought, oh no, they're going to work in the Fantastic Four stuff. They're going to work in this stuff. And it wasn't part of it at all.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised, I guess. I mean, that would have been a big, whatever. I guess they'll save that for.
There's supposed to be like a mutant Easter egg somewhere in the movie.
Really?
I haven't dug into what are the Easter eggs, but apparently they did some kind of nod that mutants exist.
Besides the Red Witch or whatever.
Besides Scarlet Witch, yeah.
Scarlet Witch, whatever.
They never explained her powers.
That confused me.
Yeah,
like
she just was born
She
that way.
She never used them. You mean?
Yeah.
They nerfed her powers.
Yeah.
They completely nerfed her powers from the comics.
I like that she was slightly more powerful this time than last time, but
Was she in this movie at all?
yes, she was. She fought
at the end.
Thanos.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
You
There was
took
also
everything I
another-
love kind of thing.
Yeah.
There was another very interesting point was that I heard somewhere. Iron Man, Spider-Man, I guess Doctor Strange, like four of them in Infinity War were able to almost take down, like they pretty much had him until what's his name kind of messed it up. But they were able to almost take down Thanos when Thanos had like 4 of the Power Stones or 3 of the Power Stones, whatever.
Right.
Yet in this movie, younger Thanos, no Power Stones, and the whole like they all can't take him down. I mean, eventually they do, but like they have way more trouble with him in this movie. Maybe partially it's like, I mean, they're all pretty beat up at that point. Like he just bombed the building they were in, which
Yeah.
I thought was a pretty good scene.
Yeah.
But however, he has a lot of trouble, or they have a lot of trouble with him, where it's like he should be way more underpowered. That version of him should be way more underpowered than what he was before.
But now he knows that he's got conviction.
I kind of appreciate that he's a different Thanos. Like he's a completely different character. And partially because he's younger and he hasn't done the stuff yet. Partially because he knows he wins. But also like
He's bitter about it. He's like, because he
He
sees all
changes.
those memories from Nebula, and he's like, I won, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
They're still, unhappy.
Yeah.
And I do like, I guess it's a little cheesy because it's like, well, the first time he wanted to take out half of everybody. So how do we up that? Well, he wants to take out everybody. But I like the reasoning behind it. I think that works. The idea of like, so I see that my life's goal, I see it like what happens because of it. That's disappointing. And I realized my mistake. Like I need to get rid of everybody and just start over. And so that it's actually kind of a logical leap, but it makes him kind of different enough from the first one to make him somewhat interesting still. Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. I did like during the action scene, the big one, the big war at the end, how he shows up and it's all like, it seems all like, oh, and then I hate that they call him, he's like Avengers, whatever, but that like everybody shows up and, the Wakanda people are there and they bring their big ships. So it's actually an even fight. That was a nice little fun moment, I guess.
Was this the first time he's actually said that phrase on screen? I know they've like alluded to it, like at the end of, I don't even remember which movie it was. Not Civil War. End of the second Avengers movie, like they cut right when he's going to say it. Like, I think this is the first time he actually says Avengers Assemble.
I feel like they say it every movie, but I don't think they do. Sam Jackson said it at the beginning of the first one.
Oh, that's right. That's true.
But you're right. I don't know that
The Cap has ever said
this
it.
might be the first time he said it. Oh, I know what we have to talk about.
Uh-oh.
And Cap Thor Cap.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. How did we
Captain
not
America.
talk about that?
Yeah.
Thor
Yeah.
Cap. I know Melanie's got a take on it, and I know Jesse's got a take on it.
Okay.
I'm fine with it. It seems kind of cheesy, but and I think I have a feeling this falls into like Jesse's take territory. It's like, well, they've done it in the comics, so like it's fan service.
Well, you guys go ahead with your fan service. My thing is, no. If he wants to grab the hammer, whatever. He's pure of heart or whatever. That doesn't make him a freaking god of thunder. That is Thor is the god of thunder without the hammer, right?
Yeah.
So the hammer has no connection to the lightning. I mean, that is separate from that. You can't just switch it up at the last minute and be like, oh, now he's a thunder god too. No, or lightning god, or whatever the hell.
Yeah, the lightning. I think. Yeah, no, I think you're right there. The lightning.
They did. Yeah, they did kind of retcon that with the third Thor movie, and now this is them kind of going back on it. So yeah, that is frustrating.
Yes.
Yeah. The what are you, god of hammers?
Right.
It establishes that the power of the lightning is with Thor.
Yes.
So that's weird that they do that. It's also weird that I don't know, Cap gets it and he just knows how to use it. He's flying around with it and stuff.
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like, well, that's weird. But him wielding it is fine because they did kind of set it up.
Yeah.
In the second one, like he moves it slightly and Thor looks real nervous.
Yeah.
I feel like I get it because it's like a rah moment.
You don't even see him pick it up. He just has it, you know? Or did he?
Yeah.
Did we see him pick
No,
it up?
he did the come to me thing, which is also weird that he would know to do that. Where he
yeah.
held his hand out and then it came to him.
Mm-hmm.
I think.
Yeah.
And Thor had a reaction to it, and I feel like it's the wrong reaction, but I get it. They wanted the like rah moment because he's like, because it goes to him, and he's like, "Yes, I knew it." But I feel like Thor would be like,
he would have been upset.
I knew
like,
it.
if that would have
like
happened.
a negative,
Like,
be
I knew
like
it.
jealous because that's
Yeah.
Thor's style.
The only good part
He
of
stole it when he was he's like he
Yeah.
took it
Yeah.
from old Thor.
Yeah.
I know, which is crap too. But
Yeah.
anyway, the only good part of that whole thing was the part where he's like, you get the little one, and gave him back the
That was
hammer,
pretty
and he
funny.
took that's about it.
You're right though. I did like that fight. I like that. The thing though, like it started, and I was starting to like feel real exhausted. I was like, wait. Are you like now we're doing the big CG battle? Like it feels like the movie should be ending about now.
Right.
Like we should be wrapping it down instead of now here's the climax. But I did like it, even though, I mean, it's all CG. You're just looking at CG. But
I like the classic moves, the classics, like flipping of Milner and flying through the air with it. Yeah.
and the portals with all the other heroes pouring out like all over, and just like it's just a mess of characters and people running around, and them footballing the Iron Man gauntlet, Infinity Gauntlet across. Yeah, Spider-Man's got it for a while. I thought, yeah, that was all pretty fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, that was good. We were a little all over the place, but not too bad.
And so was this
That's
movie.
how we are.
So it's all right.
Yeah, it's all over the
appropriate.
place, and we are like the end game. We are always all over
We
the
are
place.
the end game. Yeah, so again, a lot of problems, but man, it's fun. I am and am not looking forward to a rewatch. I am, but I'm not going to watch it all in once.
No.
All at once, because it's not a movie. It's like it really is. It should. I don't know. It should be a mini series.
It is a bargain, man. I went on Tuesday night, so I got to see this movie for $5.
I was
Three-hour movie for $5. We did fine.
I almost did but I didn't want to wait for spoilers.
And we were supposed to go see Pet Cemetery, but we didn't.
Yeah, I'm sorry. We'll get a chance. I'm sure it'll be in the theaters for a while. Horror movies always stick around. No, I know. Tuesday. Well, this week, whatever. So, what else we got, guys? Let's do a little. I know we got a little in-house news, and then we can wrap this thing up.
Did you guys do Free Comic Book Day? Because that was literally yesterday.
Yes, Free Comic Book Day was yesterday, and I did not. I did not do anything.
Oh, I did the usual. I went to Krypton Comics, and it was huge as always. And I was tired. I came home and I slept, and that was it. Like I drew a lot of stuff. Probably the coolest commissions that we did were there was a gal that was going through, and she was having people do Pepe the Prawn from the Muppet Show. Or from the Muppet movies. Okay. And one of the guys did Pepe with the Infinity Gauntlet. So then she was going around and getting everybody to do Pepe the Prawn as Avengers. So I did him as Hawkeye, because a lot of the ones I would have liked to do were already taken. But so he's just doing like this like hand behind his head pose, and he's shooting an arrow. And it was fun.
No, I usually do try to hit the shops on Free Comic Book Day, but I did not this year. I just didn't want to go anywhere.
It was a cluster of people, so like I know a few people that didn't go out because of that. It's like, yeah, nowhere to walk, nowhere to, no elbow room. That doesn't sound like fun.
I'm not sure when it's going to come out, but I recently talked face to face, more or less, to Matt D.
Oh, hey.
We mentioned, Matt D, listener. Hey, Matt D, Matt D. He's listening. He's a long-time listener. He's listened to all our back catalog, which is insane. And he's written in many times. If you've ever heard a Jerry the Gnome talking on our show, that's Matt D sending those in because he knows Jerry. And he does his own podcast now. And I will be a guest on episode 3 of 60s Reboot Podcast.
Who?
And I'm not sure an exact date, but I have a feeling that it'll probably be out here soon.
What do you guys talk about?
We recast. We basically come up with our take on a reboot of Bewitched.
Ooh.
He let me pick. And I was torn between, because I looked through a bunch of... First off, I don't know if I've said this on the podcast before, but I know when I heard his concept for his podcast, I liked the idea, but I was like, man, placing it specifically in the 60s, it feels like you're boxing yourself in. Well, getting ready for, he asked me if I'd be on and what I want to do. So I looked up a list of 60s TV shows. There are so many iconic TV shows from the 60s, I had completely forgot about. And I don't think has to worry about running out of material for a long time.
Right.
There are so many shows from the 60s. But looking through the list, I was torn between Bewitched or I Dream of Jeannie. And I don't know why those shows specifically, but those two shows.
Because they're very similar, really yeah.
They are very similar. That's exactly it. And I like both of those shows. And maybe it's because they both have a supernatural element or something. I don't know. But
and probably, I'm going to guess, maybe your family might have something to do with it too, because oftentimes the stuff that you watch when you're little is what your parents watch.
Yeah, maybe.
And I know my mom liked those shows a lot, and that's why I watched them.
Well, and I mean, thinking of that as what would be on TV when I was little, and looking at a lot of the 60s shows, I could see a child me being like, this is boring. I don't want to watch this. Or the thing with the lady with superpowers of some kind,
Yeah.
or the witches. But
it was Leave It to Beaver, but with magic.
Mm-hmm.
Now I don't want to give spoilers for this episode. Listener, you should go check it out. It was a lot of fun. Also, actually getting to talk to Matt D, actually talking, as he says on the show, he's talked to us a lot.
Oh yeah,
we just usually can't talk back to him.
It was more of a reaction than a conversation. Yeah,
yeah, and so it was cool to talk to him, but not to give spoilers, but maybe because of a certain show we happen to be watching at the moment, I was like, you know what? Let's do Bewitched. I have ideas.
Okay.
Certain witchy show.
Yeah.
Melly's like, oh, great. I know we watch it every weekend.
Can I give one half of a spoiler?
Yeah.
Which dick do you prefer?
Oh my gosh. I'm not bleeping that because it's not. She's referencing
Richard.
The two dicks that played Darren Stevens.
Yes.
Two actors. Dick something and Dick something. No, there's a great out of context clip from the episode that I pulled out and sent to Melanie.
Hey, speaking of Melanie, Randy, you guessed on a show, but so did Melanie. In a rare moment, Melanie's on more than one podcast.
What? Oh,
You're right. Melanie was on a show that wasn't the Grawlix podcast, which is mind blowing.
Yeah.
She was on the Grawlix Cinematic Universe.
That's right.
That was awesome. It was awesome having, and you did great.
Thank you.
You were all about it. So what did you talk to us about?
4 Rooms and From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah.
Which I enjoy both of them. And for both of them, I really like a part of them. And then the rest is just kind of crap. But, whatever.
No, it was awesome having you on that show.
That was a good episode.
Like
I listened to it and I enjoyed thoroughly.
Oh, good. Yeah, I thought you did. And your cinematic universe was both of you guys, man. You guys, when you come on, you kill it with cinematic universes. They were great this season.
Well, I mean, that's the point, right?
I mean, yeah. I sometimes wonder if I should minimize the review sections and like really focus on the cinematic universes.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But that's the whole point of the show is that's the fun thing.
Right.
Yeah. It was fun. I liked it.
Speaking of GCU, because I seem to always promote it on this show and I don't promote anything when I'm on GCU, which is weird. But next episode, we are still lined up. We'll be recording it tomorrow or today, the day this podcast goes out. We still have Grind Bin Podcast lined up to join us. So hopefully next episode of GCU, we'll have the Grind Bin, at least one of the guys from the Grind Bin Podcast, probably Mike. And we will be talking about Death Proof and Vanishing Point, which is heavily referenced in directly referenced in Death Proof. So it makes sense.
I wonder why those movies.
No, that was no accident. I mentioned, I've talked to them. We've been in talks to have Grind Bin on one of our shows for years. But I tried to get them lined up, I think, last season at GCU, and it didn't work out. And then this season, I was like, we're doing Tarantino. And Tarantino's all like, Grindhouse movies was his school, his film school.
Yeah.
So, like, I had to get them in on one of them. And so I asked him, and he threw out, like, well, there'd be this, or this are the ones I'm most interested in. And of the ones, I was like, well, Death Proof is the most directly related to the type of movies you would cover on your show that you'd be known for. And of course I said, like, maybe you don't want to do those kind of movies and I don't want to put you in a box, man. But I was like, how about Death Proof then? Because that fits perfect with Grind Bin. That's your specialty.
Good way to promote them too, like, hey,
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, I'm excited.
Sounds like fun.
Piggybacking on that, since we're talking about friends of the show, big congratulations to Dustin Smothers, who recently got married.
Oh, yay.
Yeah.
Sorry for you.
Sorry for you. But congratulations for it. And we've had Dustin on the show a couple times for Westworld and Cobra Kai and all the things.
No, yeah, we've had Dustin on several times, and we've talked about him a lot. And he formerly did a lot of stuff with. I notice he's been popping up more on pro wrestling mothership shows. But yeah.
And every time that he's brought up, I'm always like, is he related to Denny Smothers? Because I know him.
Yeah, you know Smothers.
Yeah. And he's great.
So
if they were brothers, they'd be the Smothers brothers.
Which would be pretty good.
Just such an old reference to make. Like, who knows what that is?
Let's see. Do we have any other in-house stuff? I'm trying to think.
Just two little blips. One being that the Nook Kickstarter was totally funded. I think it was funded before your interview was even done. But yeah, they are fulfilling that stuff now. And
are they?
Also, we have new. Speaking of Melanie showing up all over the place, we've got new games on our YouTube channel.
Oh yeah.
We do. We got all kinds of new games on the YouTube channel. Now, I will give a disclaimer for this week. I don't have anything ready. I have lots of stuff recorded, none of it edited. I just haven't had opportunity. So this week might be a little thin, but I got to catch up on some GCU videos anyway.
You made a lot of videos last week, though.
Yeah, last week I caught up. I mean, that's kind of, we've been up until I took a couple weeks off because I just needed to. But we were averaging 3 to 4 videos a week for quite a while. Dang. So, we do pretty good. But gameplay videos. So I finally finished Judge Dredd. I'm a little lost without the Dredd voice. I don't know what to do. It's such a good crutch. But I started playing Slice, Dice, and Rice, which is I incorrectly said it in the video. I said, Bushido Blade. No, Samurai Showdown I referenced. No, I was thinking Bushido Blade. It's that thing where it's a fighting game where it's basically one shot, one hit can kill you or the opponent because it's sword fighting. So I don't know. It's a lot of fun. It's basically like it's described as taking place in an alternate Japanese underworld, like a afterlife type of situation. And then also, well, we'll jump to Jesse. Jesse, you started playing a new game as well.
I did. I started the Swords of Ditto, and I think we have 2 of those videos up.
Yep.
And I know I have at least, I have 2 more. No, 3 more. I have 3 more done. About 5 episodes, and now I got to decide, now we're in that point where it's first of all, Swords of Ditto is kind of like a Legend of Zelda thing, but it's based around whether or not you win or you die kind of thing. Every time you win, it's 100 years of peace for this land. And then every time you die, it's 100 years of the bad guy has ruled kind of thing. And spoilers, I'm not very good at it. So there's a lot of the bad guy winning so far. So we're kind of in that point where it's I got to decide, do you guys get to watch me do all the grinds, or do we kind of abridge this thing and just do some of the highlights? So I think we're probably going to have to go that route because there's a lot of level up grind that happens. But it's fun, it's quirky, and I think it makes for pretty reasonably fun videos because I get into it.
Oh yeah, you do, for sure.
It's less me being freaked out and scared and me more reacting and making weird sounds, even though the character makes his own weird sounds.
I like your reading of the character dialogue.
I have no consistency. Just so you know, sometimes he's got an Italian accent, and sometimes he's got weird Christopher Walken-esque dictation, and yeah.
And then I know this video came out a little while ago, but I have one other in the can. Ooh, I need to edit it. It's gonna be a little bit of a bear to get to edit, but Melanie and I recently played We Were Here.
Oh.
And it's an interesting concept for a game, basically, and it's an online thing. So she'll be at her house and play on her computer while I'm here. And one person is in it. Well, it's a little misleading because the one person in a room has way more area to explore than the one person who's quote out in the castle trying to get to the room. But one person's basically in the room with all the clues. The other person's out in the castle with puzzles to unlock the next door to get further into the castle. And you've got to work over verbally to figure stuff out. And it's hard. It's hard. But it's fun. Yeah. And there will be more of different stuff.
Yeah. Letters page.
Letters page.
Letters page.
Speaking of Matt D.
To letters@grawlix.com. From Matty D. Subject: letters page. Been a while. Hey guys, this is Matty D. I just wanted to write you in because you haven't had a letter from me in a while. There was something missing to your podcast, and that was the letters page. So if fellow listeners want to write in to the Grawlix podcast, write everybody in. Everyone write in right away. Write in to letters@grawlixpodcast.com. Sorry I messed that up, but you know where to write. Anyway, Randall, Jesse, and Melanie, what can I say? These have been some great episodes you guys have been kicking out. I am so excited that you guys have been doing interviews. This is great. Hashtag keep doing it. Hashtag more stuff. Hashtag keeping the New Year's resolution alive. I did that because of Jesse. What can I say, man? Keep kicking out those hashtags. I love them. Anyway, these last 2 episodes, I really loved your interviews. I really loved what you covered on the comics. I particularly liked the interview that Jesse did with Andrew. I'm really interested in checking out Andrew's website, and I am going to try to order some of those wonderful little blob things he was talking about, because my kids just love obscure stuff. I mean, we went to a freaking Renaissance festival, and my kids bought sculpted rainbow poop. Yes, rainbow poop from a unicorn. It's sculpted out of clay. Boy, do I hope it's out of clay, because if that was real, then there'd be horse crap everywhere. Ha ha ha. I said crap and not... Ready for the Grawlix? Anyway, thanks again, guys, for shooting out your love for my podcast and giving me a shout out. I really appreciate it. Randy, I am so thankful for all your help that you've given me. But yeah, that's the last of the plugs for my show. But yeah, I really like your guys' last couple episodes. They've been really great. Unfortunately, I haven't tried Blood Realm yet. I really liked your coverage of it. I probably will have to check it out on my Hoopla app, because I really don't want to fork over money that the story will pull me out. So I'll have to read the first couple issues and make my own opinion. So, but that's all I really have for right now. Keep up the great work. More stuff. Keep bringing it, man. Also, Melanie, I would really love to hear what you thought of Captain Marvel, since you are the card-carrying woman hater on the show, which I always find funny. Anyway, enough of my silliness, enough of my rambling. Guys, keep it up. And this is Matty D signing off. Peace out.
A very uncharacteristically letters page type audio clip from him.
Yeah, it was. It was great. And thank you.
Yes.
And hashtag we didn't do any interviews this month.
Yeah.
No, that's true. But we did a bunch, so I
Yeah.
had to take a little interview break.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. A lot of encouraging words. It's very appreciated. And fortunately, we got Melanie's thoughts on Captain Marvel.
Yep.
Yep.
Well, at least her part in Endgame.
Maybe I'll make you watch the movie sometime. Maybe I'll put the movie on while you're here and see what happens.
Yeah.
Captain Marvel. I'm curious about it, but man. Yeah, so much appreciated, Matt. So when I was talking to him, and I don't know if this was on the actual episode or just off recording, but I invited him on the show, and I was like, and of course, I'm sure I mentioned it before, but you're always, you're welcome to come on Grawlix or GCU. And I was like, I've offered that before, haven't I? And he's like, I don't know. And I'm like, have I never told you could come on the show? Like, of course, yeah. I swear I told him in letter form that we'd love to have him on the show, but if I haven't, man, that's an oversight.
Yeah.
I think we said it on the show once. Just once, only once. And if you missed it,
That might have been the one episode you skipped when... That might have been
it was the Infinity War episode that he wasn't going to...
He hadn't watched it yet.
Yeah. What are the odds?
Right? No doubt. Yeah, Matt, we're going to have you on the show before long for sure.
Yep.
And that's it for this episode. This has been Randy, Grawlix U 3000.
And this has been Jesse. Stark. I don't feel so Grawlix.
This is Melanie. Grawlix. I know you know that. That's me. Can you buzz me in?
Thank you for listening to the Grawlix Podcast. The Grawlix Podcast is a production of the Electronic Media Collective and Vorpal Arrow Studios. For more Grawlix Podcast, visit grawlixpodcast.com. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/grawlixpodcast, or follow us on Twitter at Grawlix Podcast. We're also everywhere. All the time, all at once. like the new Spider-Man, man.
I do too. Yeah, he's fun.
I think he's good. Yeah.
Are there people that don't like him?
No, I don't know. Not necessarily, but I always thought is it Tobey Maguire?
Yeah.
Is that his name? I always thought he was okay, at least in the first couple of Spider-Man. Then he started getting a little older and weird, but I thought he was okay. Andrew Garfield, I was never really on board
my
with.
opinion on those guys was that Tobey Maguire was a better Peter Parker and Andrew Garfield was a better Spider-Man. But like I never believed Andrew Garfield as Parker, and Tobey Maguire was always too awkward, even in the Spider-Man role. Like he didn't change.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense because I think Tobey Maguire's awkwardness is what made him a good Peter Parker for me.
Yeah,
But yeah, you don't necessarily want that for Spider-Man.
no, Spider-Man should be
like
talking the whole time.
yeah. And this kid, I mean, okay, this kid talks the whole time, all the time anyway, but I don't know. I think he's good and he seems likable. And I haven't been able to get Melanie to watch the Spider-Man movie, but I enjoyed it. I thought it was fun.
I've seen enough Spider-Man movies. Okay, I'm done.
But in this one,
I put the wrong.
Robert Downey Jr.'s in this one.
Yeah, he's worth it.
So.
It's Robert Downey Jr.
So.
I have no idea where these movies are going.
But we love him 3000.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Well,
I don't know. I don't know if they really hint at it or not. Some people are like, "Oh, I totally get where it's going now." Like, really? You do? Because I don't.
They pass the torch to people.
Yeah, that's the only thing I do understand is that they passed the shield to Sam. That's it.
But that doesn't make he's not. He has the Falcon suit. That's what makes him anything.
I guess Guardians is the only one that makes a lot of sense. Obviously, that one they can do.
But they can, and I would like that. But I really don't see them making a movie around the Valkyrie character.
No.
Oh yeah.
I'd like it, but because I like her character, but I just don't see it.
No, I don't either. And nobody else matters. I mean,
Yeah.
They're kind of hinting, like this whole Spider-Man thing, that maybe maybe these other heroes aren't doing anything. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen the Spider-Man teaser for the next one? Far From Home?
Well, I mean, I've seen one some time ago.
Yeah,
with what's his name,
Nick
as
Fury and
Mysterio.
whatnot.
Okay, yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah, that's right.
Kind of
Nick Fury
implies
shows up
there's
to
no heroes really, and that Spidey's gonna have to step up.
Interesting. Well, I mean, I'm sure they're going to do another Black Panther because that
Mhm.
movie did gangbusters.
Right.
But
and I feel bad about that one too because the movie was okay, but then that's another one that they just shoved it in there into the Avengers movies without any,
yeah,
just to have it there.
Right. Well, at least with that one, they had Civil War. At least they had the Civil War connection where those guys were hiding in Wakanda.
Yeah, that's true. And Black Panther's kind of, I don't know what phase 3 hero,
Yeah.
whatever phase, however they do it. But this feels, I mean, on the one hand, this feels more like it focused on the original Avengers. So seeing that the second movie, this recent one, focused heavily on them as well. Okay. I'm assuming then with them gone, they can shift more towards Black Panther playing a more central role in the universe. I don't know if they're going to do that, but Black Panther and Spidey and whatever. It is, they do get sidelined a lot though, real hard in these movies.
Yeah.
Mm.